A very good morning to everyone. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options with your morning market preparation video for December 22nd, 2018. So Congress couldn't get its act together and pass a budget, and so we have a government shutdown for the first time in a long time. What's surprising to me is we're not seeing a bigger reaction. The market the market has been incredibly bullish. It stays incredibly bullish. Trends are good. Everything is looking good here. I have to tell you, I'm a little bit apprehensive. Not overly. I'm just, the way to describe it for me is cautiously optimistic. We're heading into the big this week we're going to get a bunch of earnings, and we get our first big tech earning today with Netflix. And the question I have in my mind is, everything has just been looking good. We have been pushing this market higher. We appear to be a bit stretched. I don't think anyone can look at a chart without seeing a little bit of a stretch there. And my question is, are we pushing this up in anticipation of good earnings? Will those earnings actually produce or support these price levels? That's my question. So I'm optimistic about the market because there's every reason to believe that everything is going well in the market. We see jobs are great. Consumer sentiment is phenomenal. Businesses are growing. Businesses are starting to pay better wages. People are seeing a lot more positiveness in the overall market. So very optimistic there. There's no reason to believe that that's not going to continue. The question is, have we pushed this up a little bit too far, anticipating that earnings are going to be able to support these price levels? I don't know. That old saying kind of pops up in my head every once in a while, and that is, buy the rumor, sell the news. Are we going to hit some of these big earnings reports? Is that going to affect us? I don't know. And that's why I'm being just a little bit cautiously optimistic as we move forward. Trends are intact. Trends are good. We had kind of an interesting thing happen here in the Dow on Friday. The Dow, the index itself, tried to push down a good portion of the day, was trying to go lower, but the Dow futures completely decoupled from the index. Dow futures finishing the day much higher than the index itself. Actually kind of surprising to see that. It does happen from time to time, but it almost gave the appearance that the big guys were really doing everything that they could to try and prevent the market from selling. I don't know what that means, but something to kind of take note of. The other indexes, everything just looks great. I mean, we've got bullish price action here, no doubt about it. We could just be seeing a little tiny bit of a consolidation before we start moving higher. This morning, in reaction to the governmental shutdown, we're getting just a tiny little push down here in the Dow. Nothing, not anywhere close to what I would have expected. Let's take a look at the SPY, SPY. SPY created a new record high at the close on Friday, and everything, all signs here are up. But I have to admit that we look stretched, so be careful with that. We're getting a little teeny tiny gap down here in the SPY this morning. Let's take a look at the Qs. Qs also new record high close, and again little teeny tiny reaction, almost no reaction in the futures here on the Qs. Again, very bullish trend, possibly a little bit extended. Let's take a quick look at IWM, which also participated on Friday, rallying up nicely after starting off the day a little bit negative. Just really took off to the upside, creating a new record closing high here on IWM. So everything seems to be coming up roses in the market. There's no question about that. And again, this morning, in reaction to the government shutdown, barely a blip lower here on IWM. Very interesting. Is this complacency? I don't know. You know, it was complacency that drove the market, the tech wreck, you know, in 1999. There was just tons of complacency, as if the market could never go down again. We were buying with both hands. There seemed to be nothing to shake the market, and that does seem to be a little bit similar to what's going on right now. But you know, we are focused on, you know, companies are doing well, so that is the, you know, there are differences. I just have to add that little bit of cautiousness in when we start to seem so stretched, you know, in these markets. If we take a look at the VIX had a little bit of a pullback on Friday. Just, you know, that bullishness that came in, a little bit of a pullback here. Nothing here suggests tremendous fear at all, or anything like that anywhere close. The market is just not fearful of a fall at this moment. Let's take a quick look at T21.22. And T21.22, I think, is also very interesting in the fact that it's rallied up here pretty sharply on Friday, even though we had that real kind of choppy, slow, grindy price action. We had a big move here in T21.22, 4-week new high, new low. That's all this is stocks making new highs and new lows and putting it in a ratio. We can see once we get up here, we kind of end up in that bearish reversal zone if we get up in this area, but we have more upside on here that we could travel into that. So nothing here suggesting that we're just going to fall off a cliff at all. So looking at the market right now and kind of looking at the futures, even though we're getting a little bit of a pullback in reaction to the government shutdown, there seems to be no fear here. So, you know, stay with the market, stay with the trend, continue to trade this trend until that trend gives up. Be careful not to chase stocks. You know, we want to buy stocks that are at or near a price support level. And the reason we want to do that is, you know, for example, when the market pushes up strongly and then we get a nice little reaction pullback, we want to be buying, you know, the bullish signal in here that puts us with a close stop loss. Chasing a market that's way up here and has no, you know, really good visible stop place, no pullback, no anything like that, leaves us kind of susceptible to a, you know, a big move lower, which can happen overnight in a market like this. You know, no one wants to, you know, believe that could happen, but we've all seen it happen, and we've seen it happen recently where we just get, you know, a really good thumping in the morning where we get a big gap or something like that, and it seems a little bit of abusive price action, but that's a kind of normal when we're stretched like this, so be really careful. Also be very wary. Anytime we're around market highs like this, lots of price whipping can happen. You know, whipsaw price action. That's a gap up or gap down and whip completely the other direction and then whip back the other. We get a lot of that kind of price action, and a little bit increased volatility would not be out of the question as we head into the, you know, the bulk of this earnings season. So watch that carefully. It's going to come down to earnings. Will the earnings support these prices? I can't tell you. I hope they do. I really do hope they do, but we'll have to wait and see. Hey, on the economic calendar day, we really have nothing going on. We've got you know, a report here, Chicago Fed activity, which is one of those that just really doesn't move the market. Nobody really seems to care, and some bond auctions, and that's really all that's going on here today on that front. On the earnings side, however, we do have some big reports coming out, and the biggest one really is going to be that Netflix report after the close today. You know, this morning we have like Halliburton's reporting. Looks like it reported well, good and strong. And there's, you know, several other important reports, but it's going to be Netflix that's going to dominate the news after the bell today. So kind of keep that in mind. It'll be one of our first really big tech earnings reports. And that will certainly dominate the news, except for, be real cautious and careful in the market with very little going on other than earnings. We could be very sensitive. The market could be very sensitive to news out of Washington, D.C. So if that spin machine over there keeps cranking out news that spin this, government shutdown one way or another, we could see the market react to that. So kind of keep an eye to the news. I wouldn't be focused on it, but kind of keep an eye to the news. Focus on your price action. That'll tell you most everything you need to know. Everyone, I want to wish you all a fantastic day and great profits. And if this is the first time you've seen this information, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button on YouTube and the follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons and drop me a comment. I really do appreciate that. And feel free to share this with anyone. This is part of my morning preparation. I do this as part of my day, getting ready for my day, and I just happen to share it. And if you find this useful, please feel free to share it with other folks. My passion is to help other people learn to trade the market effectively and to trade professionally. I've been trading full-time now for 13 years. And if I can be a little tiny piece of your day, it's very humbling to me. And if you find it helpful, that's awesome. Everyone have a great day. I wish you great profits, and I will talk to you all very, very soon, tomorrow morning, bright and early.